Our next speaker, maybe not a little unexpected for a Tech Alley event, but I think people overlook all the time the importance of presentation, personal branding, personal image, okay? Because the first thing people see when you walk in the room is you and how you look. Are you presented well? Is your hair neat? Do you have on applicable clothing? You know, I'm talking about, you know, doing your research when you go in front of investors. I've had people go into investor meetings with, you know, ripped jeans on and stuff. That's not going to give a good first impression. So this is a good segue over to introducing you to our next presenter, Charlotte Hart. Charlotte is going to speak to you about dressing for success in an investor meeting and in business in general. So Charlotte, take it over. Round of applause for Charlotte, everyone.
Thank you. I think I should go over here. Thank you, Lorraine, and thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to meet all of you. And I want to just give you a little introduction to me, and let's see if this one, it works today. Now, we were just talking about your accent, Steve. I often get a question about my accent. I'm born and raised in Denmark. I moved to London in my early 20s. Met a boy from Philly, got married, had a kid, had the second one, moved to Northern California, and now I'm here. So I am one of those that escaped in COVID, and I've been in Vegas for 4 years. And I tell you a little bit about my accent because a lot of people ask me, how did you get into styling? What are you doing? How do you know about this? And I always think about growing up in Denmark. We're very clean, classic, simple. There's not a lot of highs and lows and all this. So we just keep everything really simple. And one of the things about my style is when I grew up, I remember the confidence my mom had. And my sister and myself, we would sit on the bathroom floor, watch my mom get ready to go out to dinner with my dad or whatever she was doing. She actually made a lot of her clothes herself, and she had such an impeccable taste and attention to detail. And that's what I saw in her when she dressed in the clothes that she made. She put her makeup on, she did her nails, and she walked out the door. She was just a different person. She was confident, she liked how she looked in the mirror, and that's what I think about when I now advise people how to dress, what to think about. How do you feel good in what you're wearing? So I think that's a key component. I'm not here to tell you what to wear, what you should be wearing when you're doing all of these things that you're doing, who you're meeting, but there are some certain principles and rules that are really smart to follow if you really want to connect with the people you're trying to do business with. A little bit about my business background. I have a finance degree from London. I was in a niche field in finance there, and so really saw the business side of how I couldn't hide in the masses because I was in a niche field, so I had to present well. And then with my styling experience, I've now been styling people for 18 years. And what people come to me for is that aspect of, how do I dress to flatter my body, work for my lifestyle, whatever that is, whatever kind of job they have, and attract the business that they desire. So moving on, the psychology of dressing, it really is, oh, you can see this over here. So the way we dress affects the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act, and the way others react to us. So when you look in, I swear by this, when you put something on that you feel great in, and you look in the mirror and you go, dang, so now I swore as well. So we're even now, Steve. Dang, I look good today. You walk out the door and you feel different, you conquer the world differently, and people see that in you, that you're confident. So confidence really is such a big attractor factor. And also when we walk out being confident, other people look at us, they look at us and go, what has she got? What has he got? I want that. There's that famous movie from When Harry Met Sally, I want that. I want what she's having. So people just notice that, and they actually, whether you're at a cocktail reception or you're pitching business, if you walk in and you're feeling good, people do notice that. First impressions, I keep getting this question all the time, and people keep commenting, it's like social media is to blame. We used to, like 20 years ago, we might have had 10 seconds, 7 seconds, 5 seconds to make that great first impression. Now it's instant. And it's not necessarily when we meet them. People also look us up, like Steve, you were talking about LinkedIn, look up your people on LinkedIn. People look us up everywhere and they see who we are. So if we're thinking about connecting with people, not just talking to them, not just communicating, but truly connecting to win them over and get them to see us the way we want to be seen, we have to think about how our appearance affects them. Now, I have one of my gurus is John Maxwell. I don't know if I think a lot of people know about John Maxwell. He's like a leadership guru. I think he's got great value as a person, and he just takes all of this into the psychology of dealing with people as well. And he wrote a book that's called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. And what he's talking about in there, the sort of chapter I really honed in on is the aspect of people have to see certain things in us when they meet us. And when they first meet us, the thing they see is the outside. We may not even have a chance to say anything, and they have judged us just by what we're wearing, how we present ourselves. Another little, statistic I picked up a number of years ago is, this is specifically about interviewing for jobs. When we walk in the door, it's 50% determined before we even open our mouth whether we have a chance of getting that job or not. And that's just by them looking at us, how we're dressing. Do we fit in? Do we look professional? Do we look like we know what we're talking about? And then I know a lot of people know the thing about people do business with they trust, they like, and they know. So I guess we're missing a few things down at the bottom here, but that's not too bad. Let me see if I can move this up a little bit. There we go. So these are the 5 things our exterior needs to convey to the people we meet. And I think about, it's not necessarily just getting a job or pitching business, like for you guys pitching for funding. It could also be, what if you're retired? What if you're going on a cruise and you want to meet people, you want to talk to them? Got to think a little bit about what you're wearing. Are they connecting with that? Do they think you look interesting? Even if we're retired, we're going to a cocktail party, or is the children's, what is it called, PTO, PTA, all of these things. I always use my excuse that I'm foreign, so I don't know all of these acronyms and all this stuff. So we need to look professional. We need to look like we know what we're talking about. We can help the person that we're talking to, that we're trustworthy, and that we have their best interest at heart. Now I was honestly thinking about, what do I wear today? So hopefully you're looking at me and then you see all of those things. I could wear like the fanciest fashion stuff I could find out there, and then most of you would probably not connect with me. I would look like way too out there, and you don't think you have anything in common with me because you're perceiving me to be like a crazy fashionista. So I kept it a little Christmassy and just like clean, classic, and simple, because that always wins, at least in my book. So let's just think for a minute, and then I'll stop for a second as well, and if you have any questions, I'll invite a couple of questions and we'll move on from there. But when you walk out the door, how do you feel in what you're wearing? Do you feel confident? Or do you feel like, I might not be wearing the right thing today. I hope I don't run into anybody at the grocery store that maybe I could be doing business with, or that I should look a little better, for example. And then as you look in the mirror, think about, would you do business with you? If you were going for a job interview, would you hire you based on the way you dress? And I'm not judging anybody here, but it's what we really need to think about when we get dressed to go for anything at all. And I think particularly what you were talking about as well with the funding, and it's very different what industry you're in. If I told you I'm a masseuse and I showed up like this, would you think that I knew what I was doing, or am I trying to break into being a masseuse? So it's just that there's no right or wrong. There's no right way we should be dressing, but it's stuff that you need to put in the back of your mind when you go out and meet people that you really want to connect with. You want them to see you for who you are and actually have an interest in listening to you as well. So anybody interested in answering these questions, or are we just filing them in the back of our heads? I think I have my answer there. So then we get into talking a little bit about dressing for your audience. And I'm thinking about if I'm 20, if I'm 30, if I'm 40, if I'm 50, or whatever I am, what age group is it that I'm trying to appeal to? And as an example, I told you we moved from Northern California. We lived up in the wine country for many years, and there's so many wineries up there. There are the wineries that sell $10 bottles of wine, there's the $50 bottle of wine, and then there's the one that are like $200 or $300 now. So the clientele that go into the different wineries, they're likely different. The ones that buy the $10 bottle of wine are probably a little bit younger than the ones that buy the $300 bottles of wine. I mean, talking from my husband's perspective, he did not know about wine when he was 25, but at 30, he's like, okay, I got it now, you know. So he started shopping differently. But then the people that are serving them in the tasting rooms, maybe they don't have to be so properly dressed if it's the $10 bottle of wine they're serving, because it's the younger crowd coming in. They don't want to see somebody in like a button-down shirt in the tasting room, for example. But maybe the people that are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old that are, maybe we call ourselves a little bit more traditional, baby boomers, they might like a different dress code than seeing somebody in a pair of cut-off leggings and a pair of trainers, for example. So, so that's like age group, place, time, what field are we operating in? And also think a little bit about what's the environment you're in. Are you going into a bar? Are you going into an office? Are you meeting for lunch at a really nice restaurant? Or maybe just like your average place, you're meeting at Starbucks. So there's just little things to think about your environment as well. Any questions, clarifications at this point? Yeah? No?
He's 6.
Yeah, me. Yeah?
I'm curious, from your point of view as a consultant, how difficult is it to keep someone confident in their personal style while also dressing for their audience? That Venn diagram, kind of that overlap. How difficult is it to find that centerpiece?
I actually will come to that in a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to answer your question exactly, but I think there's just some key rules, and we talk a little bit about, I'm going to get on to fit, and then what are key pieces to have. It might even be on the next slide, so I'll just see if I forget where my order is today. Any other questions? Okay, so let's move to, all right, so here we go. So now we're getting on to this part. So there's a fun little statistic that, let me just scroll this down a little bit. That's why I have the skeleton in the closet. And this is meant for women. I can't answer about the guys. So research suggests we women, we spend a year of our life staring into our closet wondering what to wear. That's a whole year. If you break that down, that's a half hour per day for 100 years, or 3/4 hour a day for 60 years. Now that's insane in my book. Classic, clean, and simple. Remember that, right? So the thing about be organized and have a well-stocked closet, and when I say well-stocked, that doesn't mean you have to have 20 things. You can actually make 48 outfits out of 10 pieces of clothing. So that's 2 months worth of workwear. I'll show you that in a minute. So it's not that you have to have a lot, but you just need to be smart about what you put in your closet, or in your wardrobe, sorry, to really make it easy to go in there and pick the right things out every day and get dressed. Declutter, remove items that don't serve you well. I can't tell you how many, this is going to sound funny, how many closets I've gone into and come out of. But there's, I do closet clean-outs for people as well, and there are people that have t-shirts with hole in them, they're just a little tattered, they're snagged, they have pills. The jeans have rips where they shouldn't have rips, they're fashionable ripped jeans. And it's just, don't keep that stuff, because you're going to get tempted to wear them at some point. So I think it's smarter to pack them away if you can't get rid of them. And then invest in timeless pieces. So they're classic cuts. That's a blazer that fits you really well. Take it to the tailor if you can't find the right one, and just the tailor nip it in a little bit. And definitely become friends with your closest tailor. Somebody even suggested become on a first name basis with them. So you just walk in, they go, "Hi Charlotte, I know what you need." So now, still I'm coming back to yours. So what I also, what I look at a lot when I advise people on, not necessarily what to wear, but how to wear it, like sizes and all this stuff. If I'm seeing somebody who comes and tries on something, I'm showing him or her, and they're constantly tucking or they're fidgeting, it's like flattening and all this stuff, that typically means that it doesn't fit right. And if you go into a meeting, whatever kind of meeting you're at, or going into, whether it's a job or pitching for business, if you're constantly tucking a little bit, or your shirt is gapping and you're trying to pull it together, it shows, and they're watching that rather than what you're saying. And then they will have a perception of you that you're not quite comfortable. So fit is everything. Too tight is bad, too loose is bad. You just got to get it right. And that's not necessarily easy, but just ask your tailor or ask me. And also focus goes where attention is drawn. So if I had, let's say I'm pitching for business, for example. Let's say I'm going to a startup or something, and I have like huge earrings on. That just may be what they're focusing on. Or if I have really ripped jeans going into that meeting, I mean, as a person, that wouldn't be right. For somebody else, it might be right. But think about what you're wearing. I might think it looks really good and I love wearing it, but that doesn't mean it's appropriate for that particular meeting that you're going into. We women, we do need to think about our undergarments. Men, maybe not so much, but maybe you do need to think about that undershirt. And then the same thing for jewelry, accessories, bags. Think about how loud it is and whether does it gel well with your outfit. And then shoes. Now these are things that I'm thinking about, is like scuffed shoes, polish them. You may not need to get new shoes, but polish them and take good care of them. Send them to the cobbler and have him or her take care of them, because people notice. Particularly baby boomers. I was going to say we, but I'll call myself on the cusp there. But baby boomers, there's like the first sign. They grew up knowing that the first sign you look at is people's shoes. How are they? You can tell a lot about the person by looking at their shoes. And then here I just did a couple of different examples. Somebody was actually confused about what I was trying to show in that red dress, and I know it doesn't come across that easily on the screen, but something here. So now this may be my personal opinion, but the dress on the left is too tight. That's what people will notice. They're going to go, "Wow, she's wearing a tight dress." Whereas the dress on the right is a little looser. It fits her well, and then people will think, "Oh, she's wearing a nice dress," and then let's talk. We're generating conversation. For the guy here, I just think this guy looks a lot more interesting, and he's a little more modern than this guy over here in the slightly bigger sweater. This guy looks like he knows more about what he's talking about than this guy.
How big is you can't wear a turtleneck?
Well,
I'm sorry, but that's not a turtleneck.
okay. Okay, I forgot where I was. Point taken. I'll find a better picture next time.
But the fit is what you're talking
The fit, yeah, the boxy fit and the more fitted look. And then the same for the shirt down here. I'll let you judge what you think is the better look for the guy, but it's also, I'm not even going to go there. But there's a difference, right? How you connect with the different people, what you think about them based on what they're wearing. Okay, so this is not doing so well here. Now, so this is where we're getting into a little bit of what you asked about with what to wear. Now, these are the things that I think about as not necessarily a well-rounded wardrobe, but key basic pieces. A lot of us can get away with a dark pair of jeans. If you can wear jeans to work, to your pitches, make them dark. They're always the more flattering, and they're typically the more appropriate, and they're viewed more dressy than casual. Same thing, if you're female, then you're better off in a little bit of a boot cut jean rather than a skinny jean. The skinny jean is typically considered casual as well, where the boot cut is a little bit dressier. And then dress pants, dark for fall, lighter for spring or summer. A black pair of pants or navy pants you can always get away with. Gray as well. And then a well-fitting jacket. So when I talk about well-fitting, is the key here is buy to fit the biggest part of you. For some of you will be shoulders, some of you will be the chest, some will be the midriff. Buy to fit the biggest piece or the biggest part and then tailor the rest. And I'm not saying that everything you buy you should go and tailor, but if you have one or two jackets that fit you really well, where you know you feel good when you look in the mirror and you go, I look darn good today, then with a nice pair of jeans or a pair of pants, then you can have almost whatever shirt underneath, and then you know you present well. So I definitely, this is what I call investment dressing, is like take a few things to the tailor, and then who knows, let's say you're pitching for 5 days in a row. One guy doesn't know the next woman, they don't see you. I mean, I could wear this every day of the week, and I see different clients every day. They wouldn't know that I wore it every day. So that means I only need one suit, for example. So people are not going to notice if you wear the same jacket unless you're going to the same job every day, for example. So ladies, I would always say wear a cami. Wear a little layer underneath, particularly if you wear button-down shirts where they may gap or something. That's where focus goes. It's like people will notice, mind the gap we say in England. Or we did say in England. And then, I mean, you can all read here. I don't know that if I need to go down the whole list. And you just need like maybe a black pair of shoes and a nude pair of shoes for women, and then brown and black for the guys, and you're good to go. Let's see. So, and again, the investment dressing, that does not mean it's like the Armani, the Prada, all of this stuff. It just means be smart about what you put in your closet or in your wardrobe. Maybe pay a little bit extra, and then you'll have it for years. And that's where the classic, clean and simple comes in. If you wear classic cuts, then you're always going to stand the test of time. You can wear it for so long. Capsuling, I'll hit on that in a second. Classic timeless pieces. Maybe you just need one handbag that you can take everywhere, and then you just keep it. You keep it for all your pitching ideas, wherever you're going to your meetings. Keep it simple, more is not always better. And then remember the thing about confidence. So if you feel good in what you wear, then that's all that matters. What I want to say, what we think doesn't really matter, but it does in a way because we're looking at you, right? But if you feel good and you walk into the room with confidence, that carries a lot. And then if they're clean pieces, no snags, no holes, no tatters, and all this stuff. And then again, think about as well, investing in those key pieces, how you dress, that's really part of your future, because how people perceive you today, and that forms your future. Now here, so this is what I mean by capsuling. So many people, they look at the magazine, so they hear about these principles. So I have a slide for the guys as well. And if you have two bottoms, so I just took 2 pairs of pants here, and I have 3 tops. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I didn't even do anything crazy with prints and patterns. I just kept it basic. And then 2 jackets. You have 18 outfits. Now, if you add a 3rd pant and a 4th top and a 3rd sweater, jacket, topper, you have 48 outfit combinations. And that's not even thinking about what else you have in your closet. Maybe you have a denim jacket you could throw over all of this when you go out to lunch with your friends, for example. So that's about being smart with what you have. And for those of you that need to think about business, and maybe, I don't know if you need to go out and shop for new things or something, but you really don't need more than this. I mean, even those 7 pieces to begin with, that will carry you a long way. We'll move over to the guys. Again, a couple of key pieces here. So I just took 2 colored pants, 3 tops, and then 2 jackets, and then I added the 3rd, the 4th, and the 3rd in again. And I think for you guys if you're going out pitching for business, you don't have to be in a suit jacket. There are so many modern jackets today that look really good, really presentable, and you can wear them to your meetings, you can wear them to hang out with your buddies, your girlfriends, go out on dates and all this stuff. So there's so much multi-purpose in wardrobes today. And then I'll stop for questions. Yeah.
Could you go back to 10 outfits and explain it to my wife, please? Just 10 outfits, you say.
I think she left.
Do that for me, please. I love you forever.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the girls one.
Next time.
Well, I don't know where you want me to go with that one, but I can pull her aside later and show her.
Keep going, keep going. Ignore him.
All right. Do we have any questions? No questions. You all know what you're doing.
I
Yeah?
have a question. Okay, so when you're talking about tech and personal branding, you've got people within the tech world and all the big founders, they kind of dress the same way. Jensen always has the leather jacket on. Steve Jobs always wore the same outfit. How important is it for founders, for executives, for any kind of business owners, leaders, to choose a style and stick with it?
In my book, that's not important, but I think it makes a lot of sense for most people. So they're not all over the place. Or figure out to, maybe you have a style for when you pitch, and then you're, like, if we can call it private life, you know, when you go out and have fun with other people, you're back to normal, but you understand what other people see in you when you dress a certain way. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
So representing the other half of Britain, he's not even listening. So in terms of guys, what would be the one item that a guy could buy, and what color that would make the most impact in terms of, you know, their branding or like their presentation per se?
So are you talking about what others would react to and go, whoa, we need to talk to that guy, or just be
Yes.
smartest for his wardrobe?
Yeah, no. In order to make an impact, you know, whether it's shoes or pants or a jacket or...
The one thing?
Mhm.
I think that's a really tough question. That's a really tough question. I think, what's that?
A red scarf.
A red scarf. That's a good one, actually. That's a good one. You know what you noticed? That's the thing. It's like, I mean, that's also, let's just hit on that one for a second, because if you go networking, trying to meet people that could be interested in talking to you, if I walked in a black suit, a gray suit, or a navy suit, nobody would remember where I was in the room. But if I walk in a red suit or a pink jacket or something, people, they can always find me if they want to come and speak to me. So, good point. But I don't know if there's one single item. I just think one single aspect is that it fits well. You know, so you represent yourself well and you feel good when you walk in the room. So nerves can be put in the pocket. Let's see, I don't know how much time we have, Lorraine?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. So, I'm not going to go into this, and I'm so sorry it slides down a little bit, but I will just show you this. So, there are 5 body types for both guys and girls, and what to pick for your wardrobe sort of depends on how you're built. Because we may all see that picture in the fashion magazine and think, oh my God, that looks so good, I want that outfit, that's gonna look smashing. But our bodies are not like the person wearing it in the magazine, so we're gonna look completely different. It's not gonna fit us and all this stuff. So there are some key not rules, but tips on how to dress depending on what your body shape is. We clearly do not have time for that today. Universal tips to flatter your frame. I'm going to just scoot over that and go to the last bit here, because if you want more information, if you want to connect with me, you may not get the whole scan code now because of the screen. Okay, you can try, or just come and see me over at the table afterwards. So what I do seminars like my talk today. I do that for companies. I also represent 2 clothing brands, one for women, one for guys. So for those of you that really need or want help and you don't want to go shopping, you don't even know where to start, just come see me, ask me some questions. I do private appointments. I have a studio in Summerlin, and this is me. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will hand this over. Thank you. Adam. Yeah.
Thank you, Charlotte, everybody. People really don't take into consideration a lot of the time what they're wearing when they go to presentations, okay? So I know it's not really what you expect to see at a Tech Alley event, but truly, I would have a conversation with Charlotte after, because presentation is so, so important, guys. So Charlotte, a round of applause again for Charlotte Hart. Thank you, guys. Okay.